Hi guys, welcome down to London Golf Academy, and today I'm going to be testing the Generation 2 drivers from Pxg. Right then guys, so when Pxg came to the market, very top end price, you know, apparently the finest materials, best performance that money can buy. With Generation 2 though, we've seen a slight reduction in the price of drivers, and certainly in the UK retailing at around $550, it's only a little bit more expensive than a lot of the major manufacturers. Now, I'm always a big believer that it's not always about price, it's about performance and value. So let's have a close-up look at the two heads, one low spinning, one mid spinning, and let's see if the Generation 2 drivers from Pxg are real value. So we've got the two new models of Generation 2 drivers from Pxg. So we've got the 0811X and the 0811XF. Now we can see from the sole of the two drivers, very much the X has got that ability for low spin. We can get that weight nearer the face, move that CG nearer the face to reduce the spin, and with the XF, kind of more of a mid-spin driver with that ability to move those weights around the back of the club, moving the CG, helping with strike location and shaping of shots. And we can see when we look at the top of the driver, very, very different looking from Generation 1. We've now got the carbon crown, which is going to help keep the ball speeds up on those off-center strikes. We can see the hot rod technology again, improving speed, also a little bit of visual help, aligning the ball into the middle of the club face. We've got variable face thickness, so again try to keep that ball speed up, particularly on those off-centre strikes. And certainly when you look at the top, it's a very, very different looking driver to Generation 1, but does Gen 2 really perform? Right then guys, so I'm going to hit 6 real golf balls, Titleist Pro V1X. I'm going to go first 6 with the 0811X, then I'm going to move into the XF. I'm going to use the same shaft in both. So I've got the Hazardous 6.0. Even though it's 10.5 head, I'm going to get it down to 9 degree in the XF. X is at 9 degree. So like I said, 6 real shots, TrackMan data, normalized. It's very, very still and calm down here today, but just so video to video the numbers are fair, I'm going to be on normalized mode. Let's see if Gen 2 Pxg drivers are a serious consideration for most golfers. I think certainly as it sits behind the ball, I think it looks fantastic. I'm not always a massive fan of loads of tech on top, but I do really, really like the way that looks behind the golf ball. So X, so this is the low spin driver. Felt solid, just a little bit down the left, and a great start. Now I'm going to look at more of the numbers as we go along, but certainly they're just under 270 carry, just under 300 total is a great start, and straight down the middle. Now that definitely fell a little bit towards the toe. That one's shaping a little bit more. Again though, it's big. And I know I say this on nearly every driver video I do. If they're all like that, this could go in the bag. But all the product out there now is fantastic. I do think the big selling point this year with the Pxg Gen 2 drivers is that price reduction. So when you're looking at kind of £550 as a starting point, a lot of the other manufacturers are in at kind of $450 now, so it's not a massive jump in price. That was absolutely ripped. And I do think it sounds great and feels incredible off the club face. So far, looks and feel, definitely ticking the boxes. And looking at how far those first 3 tee shots have gone, definitely distance-wise and accuracy, really ticking the boxes. So last 3. Now that felt a little bit low off the face. So again, it'll be interesting to see how that gets out there. Yeah, so saw a little bit of a drop off. And I would expect with that, when we look at the numbers, maybe the spin to have jumped up a little bit down to strike. Oh, that feels so good. So good with that shafting. So again, is that big? Just under 300. We're also going to look on here with each driver as how it stacks up against what I should be generating with driver. So I would say, looking at the distances to begin with, that's probably a little longer than average for me. That felt a little bit higher on the face. Just a tiny little cut. Looks long though. And again, just under 300. So let's look at the 6 shots. So we'll look at my averages there. So we're into an average carry 271. And to be fair to say, my optimal carry is 271. Optimal total 297, and the average is 298. So very bottom end on spin, what the driver's designed for. Ball speed pretty good up there at 158. Launching at 14 degrees and height 102. So everything there really, really maxing out. Right then, so that is as good as it gets for me. Maxing out my carry, maxing out my total, and all of those drives in play. That might be the first driver ever in a test that I've actually hit everything down the middle of the fairway. So we're going to switch across from the X to the XF. Now again, idea with this is no weights up near the face. So should potentially be a bit more forgiving. Might not be quite as low spin. Like we saw, very low spin on the X, just under 2000. But I don't think this can perform better than the X for me, but let's have a look. I mean, I think as you set up again with the driver, I think it still looks great behind the golf ball. So XF, let's see how this goes. That one felt a little bit low off the face. Definitely looked a very, very soft flight. We can see there, definitely strike there, really, really affecting the performance. But let's go again. Again, felt maybe just a little bit heely. But those first 2, just absolute other end of the scale for me, comparing the X and the XF there. Okay, and again. So nice and straight. So it doesn't look like it's going anywhere near as far. Again, it's not awful by any means, but this is the real key for you guys. You know, these are 2 great models, but are going to suit very different golfers or very different deliveries of what you require from a driver. And looking at those first 3, no comparison. That felt absolutely flushed. Let's look at your numbers there. 264, 286. So good. And that's very much, I would say, my kind of normal wood driver would be round about that. So I was really impressed with how optimal I managed to get the X performing. And again, nice and straight, just a tiny little fade. Again, 265. And certainly for me here, because maybe a little bit worried about missing left with driver, for me, I've got the weights obviously a little bit more set up on this one so that I don't miss left, but definitely feels like it wants to cut a little bit more. Last one. Now that felt a tiny bit out of the toe. I would imagine that last one will be pretty low spinning because of the strike. But again, only getting out there 264 and 280. Right, so let's look how that driver works for me. So generally there we saw ball speed down, so around about that 155, which is pretty much where I would normally be. Launch angle still pretty good, kind of top end at 13.3. But definitely for me there, we're looking at that and it's considerably back because of reduced ball speed and much higher spin. So certainly doing more of what I would expect that model to do. So if you look at the drivers side by side, we have got 271 carry against 255, we've got 298 against 272. So ball speed up, club speed very, very similar, driver to driver, but a massive difference in spin. Right then guys, so we can see both models, great drivers, but certainly for me, the X performed a lot better than XF. But as ever, you need to get along, get fitted properly, and make sure the driver that you end up choosing is the best driver possible for you. So guys, hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, like and share it. Comment below, I'll get back to as many of you as I can. If you've enjoyed the video and you don't already, click the subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Make sure you get my videos as soon as they drop. Hopefully catch up with some of you guys down here in the future. Stay in contact.